Hi everybody and welcome to Gotham Guide Part 3. Today we are 1399 Blitz, not quite 1400. But we're going to be playing some games. Alright, first opponent is 1470. At the request of my live streaming audience who are with me for this, I'm going to be playing some more real openings, and my opponent immediately gives away a central pawn. Okay, well, I don't think this is going to be happening. Oh my goodness. Two central pawns down. I did not think that the video was going to start in this way. But, I'll take it. Khan is incredible. I mean, okay, that is an attack on my... When you get out to an early lead in the beginning of the game, oh, that actually works. Ha! If I take, he has queen takes. Oh, that's very funny. Okay, so I have to take. Now he's gonna have to take with the king. Alright. Fair enough. He got one pawn back. Let's play knight takes. And let's just complete our development with bishop f5, attacking the knight. Let's complete our development with knight d7 and long castles. Alright, he tricked me a little bit, this guy. But yeah, I mean, when you get out to an early lead, you've just got to stabilize, not blunder anything, and okay, I'm not gonna do anything insane. Bishop f4. It's a nice diagonal cutter. I can take, and then maybe play knight c5. If I play knight c5 right away, he takes, the bishops see each other. I kind of like going here first, and then going knight c5. If you missed the first two episodes of Gotham Guide, they're up on the YouTube channel. Go scroll around. Also, construction is starting outside. Alrighty. Bishop e7. Looks like we're gonna have to win an endgame. We're gonna have to win an endgame. I'm gonna take the rook. Is he gonna take this? Okay, are we gonna get a bishop endgame? Is that what we're about to get? What's happening here? He's playing so quickly, too. Look at his time usage. The guy has not used any time. King d7. Alright. Bad pawn. 3-on-3 on that side, 4-on-3 on this side. Obviously, a bishop trade is good. I hope he takes just for instructional value. I don't think he's gonna take. I think he understands that taking here is just losing. Oh, well, that's also losing. Now we have to win a king and pawn endgame. So first things first, e5. e5. Because if he takes... Yeah, he doesn't take. So actually, that he did correctly. Now king e7, and I'm heading over here. Okay, it looks like he's meeting me there. Oh, psych, juked him. Going out this way now. King and pawn endgames, obviously being up a pawn is good, but, you know, being 2500 is probably even better than that. Let's see, is b5 a good move? b5? Maybe a5, so he can't really kick me away? And then let's count the moves here. So, b5... looks good. And now a very easy way to get into the position. I'm going to take on a4. So he's got to take. I'd like to get here, so I need to make it his move. And I'm going to do that by playing the move h5. And now, wherever he moves his king, I have king c4, and this is what we call opposition. So now wherever he goes, I'm going to go the opposite direction and pick up the pawn. And then I am very easily winning. f6 doesn't do anything because I just take it. And easy peasy. I guess you just need to watch out for counterplay, which if I really wanted to prevent, I can just play c5. This will just show the true dominance of the black position. He cannot play king c4. I could have taken, but then, you know, just... so we avoid any counterplay. Yeah, now we take, and we pick up the pawn, and it looks like we're going to cross 1400. This game was honestly just characterized by the fact that he gave away 2 pawns in the beginning. I mean, I don't know what that was. You know, I played like a Khan with black, which maybe some of you play, maybe not. It's my favorite opening. And we're going to play, alright, 1400. Okay, let's start out with e4, and let's see what he plays. I made a course on e4. Let's play the two knights French. So he's playing the French defense. At this level openings... Oh, he's not playing the French. Now we're in a Sicilian. Interesting. Okay, knight f3. And against this, let's go bishop e5. The idea is to maybe take and castle. As long as you have the bishop threatening to capture the knight, everything is cool here. Bishop c4 doesn't always make sense. Okay, well, I wanted to do this anyway, so that's kind of a waste of a move. Now, I traded off my light-squared bishop, and this variation kind of resembles the Rossolimo Sicilian. If you don't know what that is, go look up Magnus Carlsen games. And now, what you do, since you traded the light-squared bishop early, is you replace the light-squared bishop with light-squared pawns. So you put a bunch of pawns on light squares. So h3, preventing anything from ever coming to g4. And now a4 to prevent the move b5. Okay, well, yeah, this is like not really what I didn't really... a5's not a terrible move. All right, we've talked about this in the past few videos. This position is closed. We both have a lot of pawns, 8 to be exact. And in a closed position, you're looking at different pawn breaks. This pawn break doesn't work, but f4 does. So I'm going to play knight. Where am I going to move my knight? e1? No. h4? Maybe knight d2, knight... Okay. How about knight d2, knight c4, and then f4? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play... Or maybe f4 takes and then knight c4. This is a very nice square for the knight, because he can't kick it out with the pawn. This is a very common maneuver in these positions. Okay, well, that plays directly into what I want, which is to get this off the board. And then I'm going to be playing f4 once I get rid of the bishop. And the reason why this move is good, it's supported by the rook and the bishop. I should play queen g4. Suggestion in the live stream chat, that is a very good move. It is the only move on the board that blunders a queen in 2 different ways. So that is a pretty nice find. Knight takes d6 because I didn't want to lose like this. And as part of our plan, we now play f4 attacking the center. So good move here, I would say. This is a good position. I need to be careful of my opponent's pawn break, which is c4, which is a bit annoying. I can protect it with b3, but you've always got to be looking at checks, captures, and attacks. And if I play b3, that happens, and I lose a knight. So if I play king h1 and b3 and this move, then my position is basically close to perfect. That's a good move if you're anticipating this. But, you know, in this position, checks, captures, attacks. And this move actually just traps the bishop. So, black resigns. Okay, that was incredibly simple. I mean, we played a Sicilian. We played against the Sicilian. Trade off the light-squared bishop. Replace it with light-squared pawns. a4, route the knight to c4, looking for a pawn break. And then going for this. And my opponent just... You know, a better way to play here would have been... I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Resigning here would have been pretty good. I think c4 is even tough because I always have this f5 move. White has a bit of a pull here. It's definitely annoying. You know, if you take, give a check, I'm just going to go king h1, and then you play something like this. This is probably the optimal setup for black. Maybe looking for c4. Again, you need to create a pawn break so you can create some targets. But okay, we win again. Let's jump back into the pool. We're 14-25. 2 very quick wins here. 9 minutes, we already have 2 wins. These guys are putting up... Alright, our strongest opponent of the entire series. But the last time... you know, the last time we recorded against strong players, they ended up actually losing. So let's play a French this time. e6, d5. Last time I played c6, d5. I've been playing a lot of e5 as well. Okay, so we are in a French defense. Exchange variation. Those of you that play the exchange French, you don't always have to copy the opponent. In fact, one of my favorite things to do against the exchange French is to mix it up and castle queenside. Play c4. Something is not good about this move order. Let's play bishop g4. So, wow. That is not... So, these like, expansion pushes are not very good. You don't need to get distracted by this and play b6, and then bishop b5. But, first of all, if I take... Like, he can't take with the queen, because I'm taking on d4. So he actually has to play g takes f3, which is already a huge concession. Now, I can play something like queen f6, but queen f6, maybe there's just a way to defend everything. But I like this move. Let me play queen f6, bishop e3, and maybe I'll long castle. Maybe not. Maybe I can honestly stay focused on the pawn, like knight h6, knight f5. I also could have played knight e7, knight f5. But what I'm doing something that's... I'm getting a little bit carried away here in the opening. You know, there's no need to play like this. Okay, that I was not expecting. That's actually a tactical blunder. So, we can take this, but we also have this check. That's why you always need to look for the checks in the position. He does have a trick. He can play queen e2, but he missed it. He actually, this is the very natural move, but he didn't look for checks, which now just picks up a piece. He actually, I think, could have played queen e2 with a pin on the king and then recaptured, but the way he did it, he's just down a piece now. And that's just the lesson in the fact that, you know, you don't always need to play the obvious-looking move. You can take a moment and go, whoa, you know, admit that you made a mistake. Now I have long castles, my king is safe, pressure here. We're gonna beat 3 people in like 12 minutes here. I mean, these 1500s are just, I don't know. They're not putting up a good fight. Queen f5, and now I have another threat, the overloaded pawn. Knight takes d4, another check. Also, I have bishop takes c5. I had to move my queen there, by the way. My queen was hanging. So we can either do this, and if he takes, I take his queen. We also have this very nice move. And now, yeah, I mean, this guy is just blitzing all his moves. Like, this is just poor clock management by white. He hasn't spent any longer than 7 seconds on a single move, and, you know... Okay, this move actually is not bad. I need to calculate if there's any counterplay here. Like, here, check, king f1... There's no need to allow this. Let's just play king b8, avoid all of this. Bishop takes c5 was actually a good move. Yes, someone in live stream. Look at you guys. Defend the pawn, and if takes, there's this. That's a very nice move. I'm going to steal it from you. Yes, I like it. And he hangs his queen. He spends 2.7 seconds, and he hangs his queen. GG, sir. Alright, that was not a good game by my opponent. So first things first, exchange French. You can go opposite side castling. In the opening, you know, don't get distracted by different pawn moves. Just keep developing, and just this is such a waste of time, you know. Be careful with pins as well. Like this guy, what we're noticing here is we're punishing a lot of opening mistakes. Whoa, I already played this guy. I kind of don't like that. I'd rather get a new opponent. Just want to keep it interesting, play different people. All right, Dmitry Glukhov. Last time I played e4, this time I'm going to play d4, c6. Okay, that's... I guess he wants me to play Caro-Kann. Okay, let's play a Queen's Gambit for the Queen's Gambit folks in chat. Bishop g4 is a weird move. Against this, you always have the immediate Queen b3, which puts pressure. I'm just going to play solid. I'm not going to go too tactical again. When I play Queen's Gambits in this series, I'm trying to be as solid as possible. Yeah, last game he wanted to block in my dark square bishop. Yes, somebody is in the chat is asking, what was even the point of playing this move, c5? Yeah, I guess he wanted to block in my bishop, but I was gonna, get it out anyway. Okay, h3, attack the bishop. He's probably gonna go back. I'm just gonna castle. I have queen b3, but the problem with queen b3 right now is that he can take, and he can mess up my king's pawn structure. So before you play queen b3, sometimes it's useful to bring this bishop back, actually. g4 is a little too aggressive, although, it's not a bad move. I'm gonna bring the bishop back. Bishop d6, I'm probably going to go e4. That's the idea. Now e5 is a fork. So this guy hasn't made any blunders in the opening. He's played very solidly. He's developed all his pieces well. He's got central control, although a bit passive. But the Slav in general is a passive opening. Also, he does not blunder this move. So I'm fully castled, developed basically, and before the opponent has a chance to castle, there are some ways to start, already like creating something in the position. But if e5, he's just going to go knight d5. Let me do it anyway, because I have an idea. My idea is bishop g5. So now on queen c8, if I take, this file opens for my rook. If takes this, maybe I can sacrifice a pawn in the center. I'm going to do this. I think this is actually quite nice. Did black have the option to play e5 instead of bishop c7? Yes. But opening the center when you're not castled might be difficult, because if I move this knight, let's not forget that the bishops are going to see each other. So there's, there's also this. Right? Okay, so now my opponent is going a little crazy. Knight b6, he's still not castled, and this pin is looking very good. I mean, bishop b5 just by itself looks very strong. I mean, he either has to come back with the knight or move his king. If he moves his king, he's never castling, which obviously isn't good. And, we're gonna turn our focus here to this very, very poor piece placement. Now he's pinned in two different ways, but he still can castle. So a common idea to prevent castling is to play queen a4. But what if we just attack this bishop? He actually does not have a way to guard the bishop, because if he moves the bishop, I take the rook. The queen. And he can damage my structure, but that doesn't really solve the problem of this. So this game was just the fact that he did not get castled fast enough, and we managed to create a strong initiative, making his pieces pass. So, 4 games now, I think? We've just been punishing people in the opening. This is a good idea to counterattack. Now, if take, he has to take this. But that doesn't win me anything, because at the end, he's going to take the bishop. If I go here, he's going to go b5. If I take, is he actually going to take with the king and guard the bishop? Is he actually going to do that? Wow. Ooh! I have a very nice move, but it might be a little bit too advanced. Checks, captures, attacks. Those are my captures, but I have an attack in this position which threatens mate. Queen c5! And he can't take me because of this pin. And I'm threatening mate. And I'm not sure how he stops this thing. If f6, I just take. And that's not stopping the checkmate problem. Wow! And the king has no legal moves. Oh my goodness, what a move! And I think that just puts all of black's hopes of counterplay to bed. Queen d8, I just take his queen, and he still can't take my queen because of the pin. And bishop d8 I take here. Oh, queen c5 is a very tough move, but these things exist in this position. And if you just follow, that hierarchy of moves, which is checks, captures, and attacks, right? You can look at retreating, you could look at going back, but this is hidden amongst all of this, that this square is accessible to the queen, and now it's just over. So he does end up playing f6, but I can just take. And, yeah, but again, I'm still getting in here. And this hasn't stopped a whole lot. That is still mate, and wow, he fought back, but he couldn't. That is... Queen c5 is a nice move, and it just shows you that, you know, somebody asked me, why did I play e5 and not d5? You know, d5 also looks very interesting. The idea being, you know, to shatter the structure, maybe push forward before he's castled. Honestly, both of these moves have merit in this position. I just went with this because I saw that I can create a lasting initiative, okay? So, I talked about this in a few chess.com recap videos that I made. Initiative is when you create threats against your opponent which have long-lasting benefits in your position. Like, this move is a one-move threat. It doesn't have any long-lasting benefits. It just weakens your king. But this develops pieces and continues to pressure the opponent. Right now, he probably should have castled. But even here, he's actually losing because I can maximize the pressure by going, not queen c2. Queen c2, he's actually able to move. And both rooks guard the queen. But I have a very nice maneuver here. You can pause the video and try to solve a Godmator style. Bishop e7, hitting the rook, and then bishop d6. And now he can't move the bishop because it's my rook which is going to be pressuring his queen. So, right? Like this. 3-2. I don't know if you guys can hear that at the time of recording, but I live in New York City. Someone's just screaming on the street. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I really hope you can't, but let's go c4. So I've played e4, d4, c4. Alright, symmetrical English, which is, you know, the most boring one. g3. Oh my god, this guy is, like, actually copying me. Knight c3. Is he gonna copy me the entire duration? Wow. This is gonna be very frustrating if he copies me the entire game. Okay, he does not copy me anymore. So, English, two ideas. Expand on the queen side with a3, b4. a3. These are the two ideas. I have no idea what queen d7 does. I can take, I can push, I can just ignore it. I can push this one in the center too. This is a, this is a very difficult position to navigate. Queen d7 preparing queen h3, trading off my bishop, yes. Okay, let's recapture like this. So I have good central control, I have a little bit more space, but he's extremely solid here. Extremely solid. And it's gonna be kind of tough to break through. I mean, I can develop my bishop. I mean, I get that with this last move he wants to move and put some pressure here. d5 is okay, but then he goes here. b5 is not okay because he goes there. Actually, pushing either of these pawns is not going to get me anything. So I think maybe I'll play queen d3, which is a prophylactic move, just guarding this pawn for now. And I don't know what I'm going to do from here. He's so far so good for him, you know. He's played pretty good chess, but he's down 30 seconds, which is nice. That is the only perhaps complaint about his play. Knight d8! He wants to trade off bishops. Now, do I take or do I ignore? Another idea with this is that maybe he has ideas to come here on the c-file. I think I'm gonna capture. Because I don't want my king to be a target for any checks. That was my logic there. If he took my bishop, my king would be a target. Now my king is not a target, which is better than being a target. But I still have a problem with him getting to the c-file. So we gotta think about this. And I don't really have an easy way to defend against this idea either. But what if I push? See, now my rook and the queen are on the same file. So if takes, I have this. So I'm actually getting rid of my pawn weakness by pushing it forward. I wasn't fast enough, you know, if I move my bishop and he comes here, there's no easy way for me to guard this. So yeah, now I'm gonna play bc5, but I'm not thrilled about this. But yeah, he plays knight c6. That move doesn't attack anything. So now I probably should develop. I can attack the knight, but it's a bit loose. I play here, he goes here. And also, I should probably anticipate this move coming. This guy is a fighter. Okay, let's defend our center pawn. I don't know. Either of these two moves was also good. Now let's take. And the idea is that when he recaptures, we're going to have just a very direct attack on that pawn. So we'll play like knight a4, for example. d5 is an interesting move, maybe. Knight a4. d5 again, I'm not really thrilled about this. Maybe I just go get it with the queen? Alright, let's go get it with the queen, maybe. Just attack that pawn with the queen. So far, we are just in a very tense fight. This is the strongest opponent of the entire series so far. He is not letting me get anything. Wow. He moves out of the way and gives me the pawn. Incredible. Okay, generous, but maybe some tricks involved. Although, he's not going to trap me. Because I can get away. Whoa! He's trying to trap me the other direction. My god. The creativity. And he's also attacking this pawn. But am I actually trapped or can I push it? Baby. Here. And if this, I think I'm getting away! And then queen c4. Just as long as you have a getaway square, you should be fine. Alrighty. Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. This guy is like not... And I guess his idea is now bishop f8 or something? Well, when you're winning, trading pieces is good. So I'm going to offer him a trade of queens. He's probably not going to accept. I think this move. But that can run into trouble. Because I think I have bishop f4. And let's not forget, if he moves his queen somewhere, the queen has to guard the knight. If he moves his queen here, I can start to get it away from the knight, and then maybe try to win the knight. But right now, it's very difficult to come up with a plan. We don't have a lot of time. And, okay, well he really doesn't have a lot of time. What? What is this? Activates the bishop. Okay, my plan was to trade the queens. I'm going to trade the queens. And I'm going to reinforce my pawn with this other rook, which was not playing. So now I'm up a pawn, but it's over here. That move I'm not a fan of. I think I have rook b7, but rook b7 doesn't even do anything. Just attacks me. Okay. I am going to play a trick on him. And pretend like that is a blunder. Oh wait! It is a blunder! What am I doing? He didn't even see it. Whew! That was just a clean blunder of a pawn. That was absolutely not a trick. I thought I had rook b8, but the knight covers the b8 square. But he didn't even see that, so whew! Thankfully. I should probably guard my pawn. I should stop messing around, I should just guard my pawn. Only 12 seconds for my opponent, so let's see if anything crazy is going to happen in time trouble. 8 seconds. Rook there. Okay, rook b1. Then knight c2. This is like the strongest 1400 of all time. Now I don't even have a lot of time. Okay, knight c3. Goodness gracious. Okay. Takes. Takes. Rook c5? My goodness. I mean, this guy is a fighter. Bishop d4? What an endgame we have. I have to pin him so he can't take on a4? This might do it. Like this might honestly be the final blow. And he defends, but now I have a double pin, and yeah, he just ends up blundering a rook. So he ended up blundering in time trouble and goes down, but wow. Wow. Well, so far what we've seen is that the English is definitely the opening that gives you the least winning chances in the first 15 moves. Yeah, I think that's... The English is definitely the opening which, if they play just solidly throughout, will not give you any chance at an easy victory. So the English is easy to play. It's got an easy game plan with, like, just, pawn development and taking, but creating a plan from here is tough. And I had to be, like, I think if this guy was playing anyone his level, he would have ended up winning this game just because he did not make any real mistakes. I mean, he blundered one pawn. He gave away this pawn thinking that he could trap my queen, but that was an excellent game by him. And if I have to give any big takeaways from it, it's probably the fact that... right around here, be aware of the weaknesses and be aware of their plans, and try to solve that immediately. Try to anticipate that they're going to be coming in with pressure, and that you're not fast enough. Your knights don't coordinate well here. I can play a move like knight b5, but then he plays a6, and I have to go back. And then when you're up a pawn, be careful grabbing pawns near their territory. Make sure your queen has a way back. And then when you're... when you're up a pawn, look for simplification. But that was not an easy game. Not gonna lie. That game was a brutal, brutal fight. And whatever awaits me in the next game, I hope is going to be equally exciting. So jumping in the pool again, now we are playing white, another Russian player. Let's go e4 again. So c4 I didn't like. So we have a Sicilian. In my e4 course, I like b3 against the Sicilian. And bishop b2. I also like a3. d6, and now what you do in this against this particular variation, this is where studying openings, becomes a bit more prevalent. You go for the trade. So a lot of players will play a6 here to, yep. And what you like to do here is you like to go knight c3, queen e2, and long castle. And attack on the king side. He's thinking a little bit. I mean, wow, that is a move I was not prepared to see. Okay, I'm just going to continue with our plan. I mean, there's no immediate way to punish that, but it also is just not a good move. Like, I mean, you should not be... Yeah, like, you shouldn't be playing h5 unless there's a very obvious immediate benefit. Because now, how are you going to castle that way? Like, look, it's so funny. 1470 gets one move in the opening that he doesn't know, and he plays h5. Like, the guy plays h5. Okay, knight e7. I can go d4 right away. Takes knight d4, so opening the center is good. I could just long castle, but when I long castle, I do need to be a little bit careful about this. So I'm going to go d4. I can still short castle, by the way. So I'm waiting to see how he's going to develop, and he has developed in a very strange way. Oh, does he want knight g6? Is that the idea? To attack my pawn? I don't know. It's very tough to predict how they're going to play when they randomly play this. So, knight g6. he is attacking my f4 pawn after all. Maybe castles. Knight c6. He can take f4. That doesn't work, though. Okay, let me take this guy. Now I'm attacking the queen. He takes back. This is hit. Maybe, yeah, maybe now just castle. If check, king h1. I could have gone g3, but you know the thing about g3? It plays into the h move. The h-pawn move. So, g3 also looked okay, but then maybe h4. But then I can go long castle. This is not how chess works. He does have a threat here. Maybe he wants me to play here, so he's gonna go back and then play h4. But that doesn't even accomplish anything. You know, like h4, oh, he wants a queen trade. Interesting. So that's his idea. This guy, I gotta give him credit. He is a creative player. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean good. Creative is what you say to people when, you know, they're a bit challenged in their chess. But, you know, you can't make them feel too bad about themselves, so you say creative. I'm sure parents in the chat would know that, you know, when your kid makes a piece of art that doesn't look like art in the slightest, you say, oh, that's very creative. You don't say, that looks like garbage, I don't know what you're doing. This move, yeah, that was not my idea. My idea was actually to take this pawn. So he got distracted by my knight move, but be very careful when there's bishops on the board. Just go back. I need to be careful. There are a few problems that can arise out of having the rook and the king on the same file. h4 is an idea for him. There's h4. Maybe king f2. Takes. My rook is not going to be... My king, excuse me, is not going to be too happy. I shouldn't take. Should not take. I have f5. f5 is kind of interesting. Takes. Yeah, that's actually a good move. I kind of like f5. It's a very direct counterattack to this. If he takes my pawn, I just take his knight. So if he takes, he opens up my rook to his king. And just, I mean, in general, the idea here is that... Yeah, here I thought I was just going to take. I mean, I thought that here the pawn structure is getting a little bit too damaged for him. Like, for example, takes. He still can't take, because that's a fork. So he goes like this, but this is just kind of... I mean, look at this. This is a long-term liability. Maybe just rook f3 here? Looking for a trade of rooks. I mean, in any endgame, this is just an abysmal pawn structure for black. He's never going to be... I mean, he can't move the pawns. How can you have 4 pawns but not move any of them, you know? But I still have to work. I mean, I still have to create my opportunities. I think I'm going to create those opportunities by getting in with the rook. The rook on the 7th rank, as usual. We see this concept. Checking was fine, but then he just go king c7, so... and I can't get knight c5 because the bishop's covering, so... that plays directly into my idea. Kind of weird, but okay. Okay, so now c4 threatens this, and if he moves his bishop, it's mate. So he has to play c5. But I can take, by the way, because his king is overloaded. And... you know, that's why even in endgames, there are tactics. You shouldn't always be looking for tactics, but they're there. They are there. And his king just can't guard the bishop and take the knight at the same time. So if it takes the knight, I take, then I gobble everybody, and he's still not attacking any of my pawns. His king is getting a bit closer, but nothing of real value, I would say. Okay, so that's just an attack here. I can just go king g2. Nothing has changed. I could have taken that as well, but then he was taking here with check, which... chess is all about decisions, so... okay, now my knight is hanging, so I can either take the pawn... or take the pawn, it's free. Okay. Ah! Using the pin. Do I have a mating net, like b4? So, a mating net is when you can try to checkmate your opponent by bringing all the pieces in the right configuration. So I think I can check him. And then on this move, rook c7 is not mate, but a4 is mate. Because, rook c7, king b5. So not all checkmates have to go through this sequence. And that's checkmate. So that was a nice little idea for how to win the game. I'm letting him take with check, but the reason I allowed this is that after king f2, he actually just cannot prevent rook c7 mate. He can take my pawn, but rook c7 does not, like rook b3 does not do anything there. So that's the, oftentimes the optimal way of winning in a position where you are completely winning, like this one, is yes, you can promote the pawns, but when the king is so stuck on squares, look for a mating net. Look for just a move that takes away the only escape square before you lay down the hammer. And in this case, he did not take, he actually took with the bishop, just completely disregarded this move. I'm not sure what he thought the idea of a4 was, but we get the win. Let's go again, 1471. Just a couple more games, and we hit our goal, which is 1500. So let's go for d6, which is the perk defense. Knight f6. It's a setup-based opening. I played this a little bit in part 2, if some of you played this. Okay, I'm not really sure what this setup is. This is not a very, I mean, the knight should go there. I don't really know why the pawn is there. But it makes sense. I have a dark squared bishop. He's trying to kill my diagonal a bit. Wow, what is this? Okay, castles. Knight c6. Somebody asking in the chat, do I play the Caro-Kann? For me, my Caro-Kann is, yes, my main weapon against e4, but I recently made a course on e6, b6 against everything, against e4, d4, c4. And if you're watching, the link is in the description below. d5. Okay, why I'm playing like this, why I play d6 and then d5. In openings where your opponent does not fight in the center, okay? Like, does not take control of the center. Like, this is not where the knight should be standing. You can immediately start smashing open the center. And the reason I'm able to get away with this is I'm castled. See, he's not castled. He spread his pieces out real weird. And I've got some, pressure here. Knight g4 it's already a good move because I'm trying to get the bishop. And if I get the bishop, the d4 pawn loses a guard. So now he has a bit of an issue. Bishop g5 is a good move, though. Good move, attacking my queen. Nice counter-attacking move. If I play f6, Ben Feingold has a seizure somewhere, but I do attack the bishop. If I play, like, just a queen move, keeping the pressure here, maybe he plays, like, h3. I like that. Maybe f6 is the best move. I need to keep attacking him, I think. That's probably the way to do this. But I don't know. My knight is a bit weirdly placed. Bishop g5 was a strong move. Good counter-attacking move. And now my knight is sort of stuck over there. Be very careful, by the way, about taking this pawn. Taking this pawn is a losing mistake. If knight d4, queen d4, you need to look at your opponent's checks. And he has bishop c4, defended by the knight, and then the queen is attacking the queen. We blocked our own attacker. But in this position, we can prevent that by playing bishop e6, and we also have a very interesting move here, which might be strong. Bishop h6. This is, again, just trying to take advantage of the fact that he hasn't castled. He just removed his bishop from this diagonal. The knight guards the bishop. Queen has to come out here. And what if we just, like, throw this knight right in here? And now he can't castle at all. First of all, the knight is just good. It's it's not even under attack, but also it is defended. So it has, like, backup from a distance. And also, knight takes g2 is a threat. So, we'll see what he's gonna do. But we are kind of dismantling him. Bishop c4, so yeah, this is a check, but it's not actually attacking this. Does taking have any merit? Probably not. Let's just tuck the king to the corner and see what he's gonna do. Okay. That move attacks this. So, knight takes g2 is an exceeding danger threat. It attacks the king, but then he's probably going to play something like king f2, and this knight is hanging, and this knight is hanging. So let's do a little calculation. Here, here, and then we take the bishop. He takes, we take. So he doesn't have a check in that position, he can't capture, so this is the best move. Exceeding danger. Exceeding danger. The king is obviously more powerful than the knight, so now we get a pawn and a bishop. He takes. Now the question is, do I even have to take this guy? Do I have anything better? Doesn't look like it for now, so let me just not do anything too complicated and just recapture the pawn. When I say anything better, I'm looking at checks, captures, attacks. That's all I'm looking at. I don't have a single capture beyond this one. Literally, I can't capture anything in this position. My checks are kind of all gone. So I can't take that. I want to do this. So look at this. I want to do this because there's a rook and a king. The problem is there's also a queen and a king. So somebody in the chat just said f5. But be careful. You know? Your king's on the same diagonal. So before you play f5, you got to take into account that that's possible. Now the other thing is this is hanging. So probably for now, the best thing for me to do is just to play queen d6. To defend the pawn and also potentially set up an attack on the king. So you need to play this before you play f5, because then f5 comes with a counter pin and an attack. Those of you that were thinking to go f5, you're thinking aggressively, but you're not thinking about, you know, your opponent's ideas as well. Okay, now I still can't go f5. Is queen f4 good? Bishop g7 looks good. If queen f4, he's going to go there. But then I take with check. So queen f4 is definitely the right move. I mean, we talked about this in part 1 and maybe 2, maybe just 2. The concept of +2. You need 2 more attacking pieces on a king than they have defenders. And I really have like 4 if I want. So I've got 4 attacking pieces here on his king. I should be able to deliver a mate. Okay, so first of all, we can take that guy. But with this move, he pinned himself to his king. So the second I see a pin, I'm looking at taking, but I'm also just looking at this. You know? I mean, he pinned himself. What do you do to a piece that's pinned? You just add an attacker to it, and it's really difficult to defend this. He probably has to play something like bishop e2. And he flags. Couldn't take the pressure, ended up losing on time. Happens. Let's play one more game. Against Mr. 1495. So somebody requested a Caro-Kann. I'll play a Scandinavian, you know? I feel like some people in chat might play Scandi. Wow. That is... okay, well... that just allows me to develop my bishop. And now we're gonna get a Caro-Kann, which is just really good for black, because black does not play c6. So this is essentially a French with the bishop out and this. So this is the absolutely perfect French defense. This is a French with the light square bishop out. So wow, what is queen a4 check? Goodness gracious. Knight c6? What is he doing? Is he going to play bishop b5? To put some pressure on my knight? This never works. Oh, okay. Why didn't he just take? He didn't have to do that. Now, the usual way you develop in this position, because it's hard to get this bishop out, is you move the knight out. So you play like knight e7, knight f5, or knight e7, knight g6, or knight e7, knight f5, and then bishop e7. But I'm just going to go after the d pawn. I mean, in all pawn structures, this is a bad pawn. It has no pawns guarding it. It's just stuck here. It's queen takes d4. He can defend it with knight f3, bishop e3. Actually, bishop e3, queen b2. That also defends it. Because queen d4, there is this. And then I'm pinned. But I can attack. I can also reinforce my knight. So before I play a6, he's playing exactly into what I want. This is so strange. Why did he let me get a new knight there? Now, in this position, black has a very annoying move. You can continue with your development, but if you pause the video here, those of you in the live stream can't pause it, but you can think, I can just develop and castle, but I know his next move is this. So how do I be very annoying here? This move. Just don't let him castle. The guy's got a position where he traded off his light squared bishop, and all his pawns are on dark squares. So, when you trade your light squared bishop, your pawns should be on the light squares, not the dark squares. And his pawns are all on the wrong color. So, his dark squared bishop is blocked in, and it's like Swiss cheese. I mean, my bishop's just, oh no. Oh no, and now, oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, the highest rated opponent, no, the second highest rated opponent that we've played in the entire series just played probably the worst game. This guy played worse than some 1000s. Okay, now it's just easy. I mean, now we castle. He still can't castle. I'm still not gonna let him castle. No castling for you, sir. And now we're gonna play knight b4. He's gonna take, and he's gonna get mated. And we take with the bishop because I don't want him to escape. And now bishop all the way back to a5. A very tragic conclusion. Discovered mate. And the poor rooks never even got to move. Wow. That was my goodness, that was a brutal game. Well, first of all, he gave us like a fusion of Caro-Kann and French, which is just like really bad. This is not good for white. And then brought his queen out for no reason. I mean, if his whole idea was to play CD4, why didn't he just play CD4? Here, he brought his queen out, then traded and helped me develop, and then we didn't let him castle, and then he hung his queen. So, that was a bit of a tragic game there to end on, but we get the win, and I feel like today's games were like easier than the others, but a lot of punishing in the opening is what we did. A lot of overzealous play by our opponents. But a lot of solid games also. You know, in middle game development, we saw some opening punishing, but for the most part, you know, tactics are still prevalent. And, you know, in the games that were harder fought, those are the games that you really should analyze the second and third time. Simplifying when you're winning, taking chances when they're there, good clock management as well. You know, we'll pick up from here in the next video.